Welcome to E360 TV, the live streaming and on-demand destination for influential voices and enlightened audiences. We offer trending, grassroots, and purpose-driven content across a diverse range of interests. E360 TV is more than just watching programs. We offer the ability to interact with live shows connecting audiences to real, authentic influencers and storytellers while streaming to millions of devices. Real experiences. Raw conversations. One destination for it all. E360 TV.
You know, that's my jam, it is. Ooh. Good morning. I'm feeling that way. Y'all, listen, I'm just let y'all know, I'm probably going to be wearing one of those bracelets soon. So if I end up wandering around our neighborhood, they'll know where to return me. I'm not kidding you. I don't know. It was not supposed to. You'll find out. It's an Illuminated Conversation day. Let's put it that way. And thank goodness, because clearly I needed some illumination. I thought it was Ask the Experts Day. So 3 of the 4 experts that are usually here, and they'll be back on Valentine's Day for when they're really supposed to be here. But I sent out invitations last night to all of them talking about, see you tomorrow, experts, even though I posted it as an Illuminated Conversation, which is clearly what's on the schedule. But I figured it's never about just one thing, is it? And when something happens, sometimes you just, it's like I tell my coaching clients, some days that go just the way we plan them. We tick off our list and everything. It's like that ride at the carnival or at the fair or at the amusement park, the Scrambler. Remember that one? That silver one? You can be waving at people and stuff on there, but then you can't really do that when you're on the tilt-a-whirl. You know that one, you're in that little cove and the big old, yeah. It's because the centrifugal force, try to move around on the tilt-a-whirl. You'll be doing this for the next week. Hi, how y'all doing? Hey, so what? Because you have a crook in your neck. Trust me. So this is how I feel when things like this happen. Then you go, am I going crazy? Am I losing my mind? You know what? No, I think that is sometimes the test of purpose, where it's like, can you just go with the centrifugal force? Can you just go with what we're creating and watch a miracle unfold in real time before your eyes? Because it happens each and every day, all day. But sometimes we just need a little to remember that. And that's what today is. So it wasn't a mistake. It was something divine. Our topic today, and I'm going to get them in here right now. Oh, come on in. Come on in, you 3. Oracle, you made it in right at the last second. She left. All of a sudden, there was nothing there. And I'm like, is she like manifesting herself like over to Jamie's house? Or ooh, what if you did that? What if?
Beat me up, Scotty.
Wait,
it doesn't work yet.
Our ratings. If we were sitting here and Oracle was sitting there, and all of a sudden she just like vaporized it appeared next to. First of all, there'd be no one in this one either, because I'd have either fallen out from shock or ran out of here. I see the devil. Not just kidding. Hi, how are you all?
I'm well, thank you. Hi, everyone.
Jamie, I'm looking crazy.
I can't help it. Sometimes you just crack me up.
It's so fun. It's so fun. What do you guys think about when I said that how we should let things just sometimes happen? You know, like don't freak out so much when things don't go exactly the way we, anybody.
Yeah. Just that something amazing could come out of it too. So just let it flow.
I like to call these spiritual kidnappings.
Oh, that's a good one, Oracle.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I call it.
Come up with that?
Yeah. Because this happens to me and my friends a lot. So when this happens, like, oh, we got spiritually kidnapped.
Did you hear that? I know what that was. Jamie.
What?
I heard that lighter. Jamie clicked the lighter.
I didn't. I am. Thank you. I'm going to now.
I taped it, you guys. I did something I'd never done before. You know, you guys, when your guests on StreamYard are in the green room or backstage, as some people call it, waiting to come out, the host can see them. So I was like, I'm always watching, especially when the song comes on, right? When the song comes on. So, and I was watching, I was like, and Jamie was backstage just killing it. I mean, doing rings, smoke rings,
bake and bake.
And then Tracy's tearing that orange up. And of course, you got Diva Oracle, and they're making sure that all of her glow is right. But I'm so excited. I just love you all. You're so unique. You're so interesting. And thank you for showing up and staying here. I really wanted to talk about, it's a big deal for me this year in 2022. In everything I touch, I see an imprint on and not just the word, just the representation, the meaning, the vibe of it. It's just, it won't leave me personally alone. And so I'm glad. So I thought today we could talk about discovering our soul's purpose. And there's a lot out there about it. Real quick, before we watch a clip about what they think, who wants to start with what it means to you? Like, do you know your soul's purpose? Or are you on a path to discover it? That in and of itself is a interesting thing that a lot of us don't figure out. It's like, well, wait a minute. Are we supposed to already know it? Is something wrong with me if I don't? Is that the enlightenment path? What is it? Tracy, what do you think?
Well, I'll start because I as I mentioned in the green room, I didn't really know my soul's purpose until something major happened, which was breast cancer. I was really just going with the program, doing what was expected and not really even having an understanding of that there's more for me until, that big event happened. So, yeah, it's tough to say whether or not, people really understand what it is or how they discover it. Because I wasn't aware at all. Like everything started happening right before breast cancer, but everything started happening right before breast cancer. Where I was like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be doing something completely different. I had no idea. I was just going through life, working, taking care of my son, and had no idea.
And how did you start? You said, I didn't know until, how did you term it? Something, what happened?
I said a major event happened.
A major event. I want to write that down. Okay, a major event. What about you, Oracle?
So I actually teach a workshop on life purpose and joy. And so for me, I work with the energetic realm of the angelic realm. Energetic realm of the angelic realm. Say that 3 times fast.
You actually teach what?
I work with the angels. So
But you just happened to put that in there that you have a course or a class or something, right? So
yes, so it's called integrated integrated energy therapy. But that's how I discovered my purpose, was through integrated energy therapy, working with the 9 healing angels of the energy field.
For just $12.99, you too can. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
We love you, girl.
I know. I just do that because remember Miss Cleo and all that. So I tease Oracle on the sideline. But go ahead.
That's okay.
No, seriously.
So working with them, you discover your verbs, which is basically the verb of your life that you feel like doing would be too good to be true. We discovered that verb inside ourselves. We refined it. We asked the angels to tap in and let us know.
Okay, but you done went into Oracle's show, Oracle. No, how did it? Question is, nice try, girly.
That's how I found it. That's how I found it. I used that technique and I discovered it.
But you when it was happening, you were not like, oh, let me write this down. Look at this technique I'm discovering as it's happening. Something I'm talking about. I want to know, like, what made you go, huh? And what is it? Because I'm really expecting a plutonium nugget from you. Because I know, and you got to remember, we don't know some of the things you know. So you're going to have to, because you guys get it. Oracle experiences stuff on a level that we will go, you went where? And she's like, oh, I just got back from wherever it was transmuted to, or whatever the term is. But you know what I'm saying, Oracle. So
okay, you want. So that was definitely a facet because of the activation. So what I discovered was in the discovery process, in the journey, is what I discovered was during my illness. So something like Tracy, major life event, right? Major life event. In my illness, I discovered my purpose because I felt less than, and I felt like I had nothing to hold on to. And the universe gave me my purpose because I asked, let me have this.
Okay, don't say what it is yet, Jamie.
Well, obviously a life event. Well, obviously it is a life event. I think the thing, how we find it. You asked how we find our life purpose. How do we find it?
Wait! I almost forgot because I got a message last week from my attorney. Okay, hold on. Before you say another word, Jamie. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Go ahead. I'm kidding. That was a good one. Okay, go ahead.
I can't.
So you asked, how do we find it? And I feel like we find it when we continue to be curious. Tracy happened to have something happen to her, and she said, what? Let me find out more. Something happened to Oracle, and she said, oh, wow. For me, it was years and years of years doing the right thing, doing the social constructs, doing what was socially expected of me, listening to the people who were supposed to be the experts and who were given the authority, the piece of paper. And my son's liver was dying inside of him, and I allowed it to happen. You know what that made me do? Search. Now, that may have been... Yeah, exactly. And that may have been the spark. Once we get down to, the inflammation, the root of the issue, it's us. Why aren't we seeking? Why aren't we asking more questions? Why are we taking our cars to the same mechanic 8 times or the same people 6, 7, 8, 10, 20 times who can't help you, who aren't helping you? So I think curiosity is how we find our purpose. And it could change every single year.
I'm with you.
Ultimately, we're the same person. We have things. Go ahead. It's your show.
I stand with
you. Quit throwing that in my face. And for the rest of y'all out there throwing me hate mail because of what happened.
I love you for it.
I'm kidding. It wasn't. Nobody did. I made that up. Nobody did. But listen, you're right. You're absolutely right. And you see, that's how I look at it. That it's an ongoing, because the problem, I always read, whenever I have a question or I'm afraid of the answer, either one, that when I'm, I reach for the nearest promise. I really do. No weapon formed against you. Because people say, well, that's biblical. No, that's just, their promises are inside of Aesop's Fables, the Farmer's Almanac, hieroglyphics, Mother Goose, Dr. Seuss, Confucius Says, Indian folklore, or anything that is, and the moral to the story, those are clues in my world, seriously. And so, this whole thing here about the quest, to me, everything seems to point to, evolving, improving, the natural things that pull you want to improve from the generation before you. So it's all about ascending. It's everything points, which means you got to keep reaching, searching. So, and that's a promise. Seek and you shall find. It doesn't say you might. It doesn't say it's possible. It says you shall. This ain't the Publishers Clearinghouse thing. I said that last time. When we just remember when you were so little and you thought, wait, what? Look at this, and you come running in with a big old envelope. Yeah, the things a gold sticker can make you believe. So anyway, let's take a look. Major event, major life event. Basically, continue to be curious, and I wrote down continue to be curious / underneath it, line underneath it, scared, line underneath it, skeptical, because I want to come back before we leave today and kind of talk about that point too. If we're seeking, is there a difference? Is it the same? Curious. What's its relationship to being scared? Being scared. What's the relationship to being skeptical? Because the manner in which we search, you can run. There's a difference between when we run towards something. Wow, look at that, Derek in the 80s was on the beach. That kind of run, cherry.
She's beautiful.
Fire, but the thing about it is, it's totally different. And a lot of us know that when you're running from something, totally different kind of activity. So let's take a look and see what Dr. Wayne Dwyer, you guys know him? Everybody's familiar with Dr. Wayne Dwyer? Yeah,
I've heard his name.
Yeah, and I try to
heard him. I don't know him.
If I'm gonna use a name person, they got to be somebody who So anyway, I just really like him, and so we're gonna listen to a little bit. And what we're gonna do is listen to a little bit, stop and talk about it. We're gonna bring in some of the comments and see what we have to say about this topic. Here's Manifesting Your Soul's Purpose.
I read a book
Dr. Wayne.
not too long ago by a woman named Bronnie Ware down in Australia called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying. And she was a hospice nurse who worked with the dying people and talked to them. And the number one regret that people had, people who were dying, who knew that they were crossing over and making their transition, the top regret of them was, I wish I'd have had the courage to live the life that I knew I was destined to live. In other words, that I had a purpose, that I knew that there was something greater that I came here to do, that I signed up for something other than just to fit in and to go along and to follow somebody else's rules. And most of us are not, don't allow ourselves the freedom to listen to those internal callings, those things that we all feel are just so important to us. I can give you two examples of the two most significant moments in my life that I can think of, other than the birth of my children and all those wonderful things that took place. I went to my father's grave in 1974, a man that I just hated. I was filled with rage and antipathy and anger towards. And I was called to go there at the age of 34. And I went there because I was just angry. I wanted to make a connection. I just couldn't believe that this man, he'd been dead for 10 years and I had just found out. And I stood on his grave for the longest time, just cursing and being angry. And I went back to my car. It was down in Biloxi, Mississippi. And I got into the rental car to drive back to New Orleans, and I was going to fly back up to New York because I was a professor at St. John's University in New York City. I was been thinking about wanting to write and all of that, but nothing was going right for me at that time. I was out of shape. Things weren't working well. I was drinking. I had been doing drugs. I was in a bad relationship. My whole life was not on the kind of path that it is on today. And I got back in the car to go, and I felt like finally done that. And I had a calling. I was called back by some invisible intelligence, some burning desire, something that we call light.
Okay, let's talk about that right there. Especially when you guys are talking about major event, major life. I don't know. Is it just me? But I'm sensing a theme, a reoccurring theme. You want to talk about what he just said there? That pull, that calling. When you said major event and when you said major life event, you two, Was there any element of what he just spoke of?
Yeah.
Tracy, go ahead.
Yeah, I had a calling before I found out that I had breast cancer. It was Hurricane Sandy, and I was in the house. And just to make a long story short, in the house with my son, lights went out. My whole house was illuminated. Had never experienced anything like that before, but it was in that moment for me. It was really God telling me that He was there for me, and I didn't realize. I thought He was saying, "I'm here for you through this storm," but it was really the storm that was coming next. But what it really woke me up to was He's there for me no matter what. And before that happened, I was asking for a break in my job. Like, I need a break, I need a break, I need a break. And then that happened, that illumination happened. And I felt like a dome came down over my house, like, because I was praying before it happened. And then the breast cancer happened. And when the breast cancer happened, not that, I didn't have my own feelings and reservations about cancer in of itself, but I kept going back to that comfort that God gave me before the cancer happened, and knowing that my life was about to change. And I didn't even know how, but I knew that my life was about to change in that moment.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm playing around with all these things out there. Wow, Tracy, thank you for that. Now, Dominique, major life event. Now,
Okay.
I think this is going to be interesting because you already had a lot going on in your life from the spiritual realm and whatnot. So what was it like for you about that calling, that pulling?
So I didn't know that I needed to be on anybody's team. I thought I was just in this boat by myself, honestly. At the time I didn't have, like Tracy had, she had her faith. I didn't have that at the time. I didn't even believe in God at the time. I didn't even think anything was real at the time. Through my life experiences, to me, everything was bad luck, dense energy, negative thoughts. That was my life experience. And when I had gotten sick and I was in the bed for several weeks, bedridden, I was asking a proclamation. I basically proclaimed, like, if there's anything out there that's listening to me, if there's anything out there that exists, teach me how to heal this, and I will teach as many people as I possibly can. And in that, there was actually a surrender, and I put a call out that was answered and received, and they replied. And so that led me on a 6-year journey of opening a center, teaching over 2,000 classes, and helping people tap in.
It was just a matter of time. I pulled it up. I can't.
Lord.
Tracy threw one in too. It was it felt like something came over my whole house. Not to be mistaken with the whole really show. Okay. Jamie, you better not promote no.
I don't sell anything.
There you go. Yeah, freedom. Well, listen, I just want to say, and then we go to you, Jamie, because my mind is feeble. I'm kidding. Sometimes. I remember, believe it or not, it's why I bless my drug addiction, because it wasn't really a drug addiction, because I wasn't addicted to drugs. I know now that I was addicted to the abusing of the gift of invitation, because drugs didn't do anything they didn't promise that they would do. And they didn't get inside my body or mind or spirit until I invited them in. So I abused that. I abused the gift of invitation. But I will say this, how it helped me, because it's never about just one thing. Trauma always comes riding with a doggy door or a sidecar, I believe, of a future blessing that's just now been born into the process of becoming. And it happened, and that's only based on, because that's what happened with me. But what I'm getting at is, the moment I believe, to tell you the truth, I believe it started because it sounded like, when I think about it just now, it was like I heard someone pull a breaker box, even in just the remembering myself to the moment, I could still hear it echoing like in a big water tower chamber or a hallway. It was like that. But what it did was, the moment I took that first hit of crack, all the things in this universe that are there to protect us, the things that are there to say that this is all a part of the story, this is all a part of the preparedness, the refinement, what it like when they take the impurities out of gold and stuff. That's what I felt. And so all of a sudden things wrapped themselves around me, and it began. That season began, and it was a 14-year season. But the thing is, no matter what it is, but when we get that calling, it's for a reason. And people think it's like, I used to think that the calling was like, I would come and I'd come out with my little to-go luggage. Guess what, everyone? Like a Mormon kid going on his mission. My soul's calling has now been made clear. I'm now leaving to go out to be, somehow, right. Goodbye, all. Off to me. Yeah, that's kind of how I didn't know. So interesting. Jamie, did you feel a pull, some kind of thing that would fall under the title of calling? What's that?
I don't know if I would describe it that way.
Let me put it this way. I don't call it that either. Or for me, I now refer to it as a universal urgency. So I couldn't sit still anymore. I felt it was more important than me. I could start seeing. So that thing that compels you.
It was something. It was a force. I had a rebirth. Literally, something came over me, and it was time. It was. I don't know. I had enough of being in my own mental prison. I had enough things. I was curious. I was like, this isn't okay. Who says I can't uproot our entire lives and go somewhere? Who says I can't do that? Do I care about this business right here that I have locally? Is it worth the money that I'm bringing in? Is it?
Oops.
Nope. And guess what? When I had that realization that those social constructs and social expectations, I had no money. I didn't have another business to rely on. I fired my clients, and I lost a lot too. And then after I had lost them, I fired the rest because they weren't serving me.
You fired your clients?
Yes.
I have never heard anyone say that.
Me neither.
I've never heard anyone frame it like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I'm so I want to cry, not because I'm sad or nervous. I'm happy and joyful that I had the balls to make those decisions and do it for me and for my family, because you talk about our purpose. My purpose is not to be unhappy. My purpose, I have pleasure zones. I have a brain. I have feelings. I have a heart. I have all these things connecting me. And I am like this. And I want to be like this. I want to be this flower that just opened up. So after I took those actions and I wasn't afraid anymore, it was liberating and empowering. And I wanted more. I wanted more freedom, and more.
Well, and that's another thing I believe. I'm glad you said that. Thank you for throwing. That's a great way to go into the next stage, Dr. Dwyer. But that's my litmus test for staying within the confines of purpose. And that is, I always look for the proof, because when you're within purpose, it always leaves everything involved with things you do wanting more.
Yep.
It leaves you wanting more. It leaves the people that are there wanting more. Power We Symposium. This is, I guess it will kind of be my version of a shameless plug.
It's your show.
It really does do that. The Power We makes people, it compels them to come back and be a part. And that's how we got that award. It wasn't because we didn't have Cirque du Soleil at the show in Atlanta. But it was a spirit, in Christian circles. If anyone's ever been in that world, there's a song in there called "There's a Sweet, Sweet Spirit in This Place." And that is exactly what happened. So it's a real thing. And we all have it. We all have that to bring. And when we bring it unconditionally, it's just amazing. Just amazing. So let's do this. We're going to take a quick break. Real quick, just to get our heads back on. Then we're gonna come back. You guys drop your questions or comments in about how you feel about discovering your soul's true purpose. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't you dare go away. We'll be right back. Share it out.
The power of we was a way of inclusion, a way of inviting anyone who needed or wanted a place to belong.
It was just very clear to me that this was something that would really benefit the young folks right here.
And to be able to give them a different perspective, that I know where they come from, I know what they're experiencing because I was there too, and letting them know that there's different actions that they can take that'll lead to a different destiny.
We really needed to hear that. In order to change our community, we needed to hear that.
And they are inspired to invest in making it happen. That's powerful.
Something that we call the impersonal part of us that is always directing us, and it's always directing you as well. You're listening to it sometimes. Most of the time we ignore it in the name of fitting in or doing what I don't have time, or I'm too old, or I'm too fat, or I'm too skinny, or I'm too white, or I'm too black, or I'm too poor, and endless we go with all of the reasons why we can't fulfill a destiny that we know is ours, that we signed up for, that we're here for in this infinite universe, that who we are is not this physical body that we're in that is here for a moment and gone. Who we are is this infinite intelligence, and we forget that. The same intelligence that created this infinite universe that never ends is you. You manifested in this infinite, divine, organizing intelligence. You're a part of all of it. And I got a calling, and the calling for somehow said, go back. You're not complete. That's not why you were sent here. That's not why I wanted you to go to your father's grave. I went back. Something came over me at the age of 34. I have no idea what it was. I do know now that it was light. It was God. It was that divine intelligence, whatever you call it. What I said at that gravesite, from this moment on, as I send you love, I send you kindness. Who am I to judge you? Who am I to condemn you? Who am I to be critical of you? I don't even know what you were living through and why you had to do what you did. I send you love from now on. I'd never had another bad dream about him. I was never angry about him. But the most intriguing thing happened is that my life made an entire shift. A shift that all of us can make at any moment. We never know. These callings are so strong, and yet they're always there.
So, right there, I want to talk about something because you guys have been hearing me.
Can you just refill that with hot coffee?
Oh, who are you talking to? Oh, girl. Okay. Wow. That's how you get it done. See? Yes, but you were so nice about it. I like that. Okay, so this thing right there, what he was saying about how it took him. Once he released something, and I do you guys believe? I do, but I want to hear what you think about it. I believe. I'm starting more and more and more to wrap my mind and my everything around the mindset that my soul is like my backup, my bodyguard. That's my heavy, because when I've been turning certain decisions over to my soul to make for me. And when he said this thing about, somebody said, when you said rebirth, Jamie, isn't that isn't that the literal definition of souls, that they keep going, they come back and I said, so it's like a mini version of the big plan. When you said rebirth, immediately what I felt. So, how do you guys feel about that? What he was just talking about there? Because I believe the soul thing, I'm telling you, here's my thing. I believe as a human, my frailties and thinking and emotions and all of that, my job is the forgiveness piece. And once I really mean that, and bless it and send it on its way, when I needed to leave my kingdom, I need its passport back.
Yep.
You ain't gonna give me back the passport?
Yep.
Oh, you ain't? Stay right there. Excuse me, security. And I call my soul in. And I let my soul make the decision. Would you please escort this thing that doesn't serve me anymore to the outskirts? I thank you, because your services are no longer required here. and I let it go. And I don't have to worry about, is it going to come back? Every time I try to kick it, it comes. No. When I do let my soul make those decisions, boom. Ain't no coming back.
Mm-mm.
So anybody got anything on that?
Yeah. So I'm going to use the Tibetan Book of the Dead as an example. So within that book, it's a Buddhist tradition. Within that book, they say in 47 days we reincarnate. So this is basically the cycle of life. Like you learn what you're supposed to learn, but if you didn't reach enlightenment, you come back to the earth plane because the earth plane is the school. So I do understand that and to that degree. And then I also agree with what he was saying about not having the nightmares anymore. And that's because if you look at there's a book called The Course in Miracles. I don't remember the author off the top of my head right now.
Big in the 80s.
Yes.
Course in Miracles, yeah. I remember when it came out.
In that book, it talks about forgiveness. The consequence of forgiveness is always miracles. So I understand when he's saying, okay, I don't have any more dreams. He's like a brand new person, right? He has learned something extreme, an epiphany, this breakthrough. This is a miracle. So that's exactly what he's experiencing in that moment and what he's describing. That which exceeds our expectations is a miracle.
Ooh, drop it like it's hot. Right. Man, you girl, that was you.
Somebody write that out for her in the comments so she can go back to it, please.
We already registered with the Library of Congress. She's so quick and good. I love it. I'm not kidding. I love Sherry McQueen. Sherry McQueen is, by the way, coming to the Power Week. I love what she does here so much. I gifted her a ticket to get her here, make sure she was here because she's so supportive. And I don't tell people enough. So Sherry, I love you. Thank you so much. So listen, who else has something to say about, where does the soul piece live? What room is it in your house? You know what I mean? Is it Mrs. Garrett who runs the place? Is it like in my world? I call in security. Because I like to look at it like I take things as far as I know that I protectively, fiercely fulfilling the 4 agreements, having done my best can do. And I got to know now, let ego get out of the way for whatever reason and protect that experience for myself and whomever else is a part of it. And so then I call in my security to ensure that I don't fuck it up.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it real. Because I know when Lauren tried to do human things before he understood his superhuman powers, I destroyed everything starting with me. And I don't ever want to go back there again. I don't ever want to. So I try to stay humble, and that's just my process. Anybody else have a process of how you speak and deal within your souls? Who is Tracy? You're shaking your head.
Yeah.
Go ahead, girl.
Like,
Jamie, did you have your hand raised though?
No, I was itching.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I thought she had her hand raised too.
I know.
No, I was just itching. Woman stuff. Sorry. Okay.
As a little girl, I used to always say that I wasn't going to let anything rob me of my joy. So that was part of my soul, and it's been my armor since I was little, and I just continue that. And when things are tough, when they're challenging, that's what I say, and then my soul comes in and takes over.
Okay. Anybody ever wonder what about that thing about the soul? Like, I saw it leave her body. This, we said, do you think the soul? What do you see it as, a mist? Is it Oracle? Why don't you chime in? Have you ever seen any? Okay, yeah.
Shameless plug.
Okay. I teach a class on how to identify souls. Okay.
Yes, I do. No.
You do?
No, I don't. But what I mean, I was joking, but so I do go to hospice, right? And I help people transition when they're at the last chapter of their lives. And I've done this a few times already.
Really?
And I have been there in the moment that the soul leaves the body. And it's really cool. Like my nerd is about to come out. It is really, really something to behold. So it's so cool. So what happens is, as the person's transitioning, you've cleared the way for them. You've been working with them. They stop dreaming nightmares. So that's what happens when they're integrating their death that is coming. And they've made their peace with it. They feel lighthearted. So the chakras kind of like supernova, they get real big. And then the crown chakra that's up here, this is where your soul exits. It opens, and with your actual eyes, you see like glitter. It's like sparkles, like something that's glinting, and it opens up like this, like a 45-degree angle. And then you see all this sparkles, and then there's an energy to it. So if you were to touch it, there's like a pressure, like a fire hose that's pushing energy out. So yes,
Oracle,
it comes out that way.
Wow. So a crown chakra, if a person was like really special or something, would somebody be able to see their crown chakra?
I don't even think you need to be special. I just think you just need to be present.
I think you do need to be special.
I think if it,
like
Lauren, your crown chakra is amazing. And you got the fuzzy robe.
What are y'all laughing at? What?
I love your crown.
What crown?
Oh my gosh, your chakra's so
crown chakra.
Your chakra's so
Is that being blasphemous, Oracle, when you do that? Because I ain't trying to get struck down from chakra stuff.
No, you're okay.
That's that old organized religion coming out. What?
Yes.
You know, don't strike me down. So okay, so let's.
There is a study that measures the weight of the body when you pass. When the spirit leaves, there's a measurable amount. I don't know what it is off the top of the head. Maybe Sherry McQueen can Google it. But there's a measurable amount. There's a study around this.
There is?
Yeah.
Wow. We'll have to somebody find out. That'd be something great to check out. Okay, let's see what Dr. Wayne has for us next.
I left Biloxi. That I flew up to New York, flew down to Fort Lauderdale. I had 2 weeks. I checked into a motel on A1A, the Spindrift Motel, and I wrote for 14 days. And wow, I wrote a book called Your Erroneous Zones, which became one of the largest selling books in history.
Watch your nasty mouth, Doc.
Did he say endogenous zones?
Erogenous.
My relationships all changed. The divine person that I was to meet showed up. My children showed up. Everything changed and shifted because I was willing to listen to that inner voice, that light that said, go back. Another time, just a few years later, it was 1976. I was driving on the Long Island Expressway from where I lived in Huntington, New York, into the city. I was about to receive tenure, which at that time I was 36 years old. I had written 3 textbooks. I was a star there, as far as they were concerned. I was going to begin, to live a life in which I was going to be a professor for the rest of my life. Tenure, guaranteed employment for the rest of my life. Something that everybody at the university.
I didn't know that's what tenure meant.
I didn't know that either.
Off the Long Island Expressway as I was contemplating that. And I sat on the side of the shoulder there for about a half an hour, just watching the cars go by, wondering and asking myself, do I really want to get tenure and stay here and do what I've been doing? I've already done this. I know how to do it. Am I going to be in the same office doing the same thing? Am I going to live 90 years, or am I going to live 1 year 90 times over?
Oh,
so I feel like it's security even secure with that statement.
Wow. Who wants to try to repeat that one? I'd rather
live 1 year 90 times than live when I'm 90 years old. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Yeah.
Wait. I think you got it backwards.
Well, I said the important part first. Instead of living 90 years, I would rather live 1 year 90 times.
Right.
I believe.
He dropped that one. So now don't forget the topic is even there on manifesting your soul's purpose. So again, we're back to that rebirth. That's really what he's describing.
Yep.
Yeah. And how important the energy behind what you're doing is, so you don't feel stuck. Because that made it seem like a death sentence when he said it like that.
It did. And
that's how I felt. I had to go. That's why I fired him. I had to go. I was not going to spend one more second in the same place for 10 years that I had been and not moving forward.
Right. It has to matter. It has to really
that's really sickness. Matter. And if you're afraid to choose curiosity, if you're afraid to choose the other side of those social constructs, I'm considered radical because I feel this way. I am not going to wear a bra. I'm not going to work 9 to 5.
I hear you, girl. Me
I'm
either.
not going to do what is socially expected of me. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to seek. I'm going to be curious. I got to be on the other side of it. Choose to be on the other side of it and see from that point of view. You're going to be like, quit saying what if I find something magical in my life? What if I find something that I have never seen before that's going to open my eyes to this and this and this, and I get to have it? I don't have to have all of these things that have been put in front of me. I don't have to choose the 2 failed party system. I don't have to choose this thing in a building. I get to choose my plants. I get to choose my life. I get to choose where I go. I get to choose what I put in my body. I get to choose what I put in my mind without anyone telling me that I can't have it. I'm not hurting anyone. Choose to look from the other side, your side.
Well, you better, dang, you're going to be on the road with Jason Cisneros and them Patriot people in a minute. Man.
That's how you rebirth. That's how you rebirth.
Yes. Okay.
I have one thing to add to that really quickly, because I was in a job same way, and I just felt like I needed to get out. And I believe, this is my belief, that breast cancer happened because of the job, the stress from the job. I had a woman that I met in a parking lot in the mall that told me that a man, not that anybody that I'm intimate with, was causing me sickness before I found out that I had breast cancer. And I believe it was my manager, because we had like a battle going on. And I really think that that's what caused it. But probably that whole, everything that Jamie said just brought me back to that moment. But that's what happened to me. So,
wow. Well, they're feeling you, Jamie. Vote for Jamie. Oh, Jeanette Ramos says that was me. I needed to get out of my job. Tracy, preach.
Yeah, girl.
They're on fire up in here today, y'all. On fire. Our topic today is discovering our soul's purpose. And we've been following some of the words of wisdom by Dr. Wayne Dwyer and just kicking it around. So I find it interesting that even though we're talking about it, not too many people they got their own thing going on out here in the comment section. But that means that they're very enthralled with what you all are saying today.
Yeah, good for them.
Let's talk about this really quick. We got a few minutes left. So let's transition into I heard rebirth, and I've heard it inferred to several times since the top of the hour. But so then let's talk about because the soul, is here to it's the premise is that the soul keeps coming back and moving forward and growing and achieving, checking things off bucket lists or whatever we want to call it, to-do list, whatever, just evolving. So that means that let's talk about that theory or the mindset of dying to something that doesn't serve us in order to have the rebirth. You got to put something that's not serving you down in order to pick up those things that are waiting to serve you. Because I believe this, and this is why I believe it's really important to try your best every day to understand what it means to discover your soul's purpose, so that everything you do now has a meaning to it. Because the moment you mean something from the bottom of your spirit to the top of your spirit, from the side of your spirit to the other side of your spirit, from one corner of your spirit to the other corner of your spirit, when you do, what you mean is now automatically somewhere in this universe manifested, incarnate. It really is. And it doesn't, because that's why you should be of service, so that you don't expect to see everything materialize before your eyes, because then you won't believe in the magic, which is manifestation. If you only base it, let things you do manifest. Let people bless you and send manifestations of your needs. When you're vulnerable, you tell people what you need. Other people, that's what the meaning of praying for people is all about. Is sending them, use your power of manifestation to change the world. So, that's just how I'm feeling about that. So how do you guys feel about that? Because a lot of people, if I give up, I remember when I used to make decisions about, I should quit this. Well, if I quit that means I can't. I ain't gonna be able to watch that no more. Oh no, then they gonna tell me I can't. Oh no, Then right, and I was like, nah, nope, not for me. And so, what do you do How do you feel about this premise of dying to something in order to be reborn into something better? Anybody?
For me, I think you gotta want it bad enough. You gotta feel so withery inside. You know, you gotta make a choice. You're obviously still here because you believe that there's something out there. So you've got to decide, okay, I know it's there and I know it's scary, but do I want to stay here? Or do I want to see, okay, if I do this, obviously this isn't working for 10 years. I wonder what I look like over here. Oh, yeah. Just thinking about it's making me smile. So there can't be any worse than this. So don't be afraid to reach out there, even if it's something real tiny, like putting on orange lipstick or red or whatever, right? If it's one tiny thing, then when you get to there, you're going to be like, oh my gosh. And then more and more and more. And if you keep reaching and reaching and reaching, that's how you fulfill that. That's how you find that,
right.
Everything.
That's right. And that's exactly right. That's that starvation.
Yeah.
You got to move from a place of starve. My soul is starving for this. And I remember, I tell people this. I remember I had that conversation with somebody, because Les Brown says you got to stay hungry. And I always told myself, yes, one better than that. No, I need to stay starving. Why? Because I know my lazy ass. Hungry people will eat up, anything. Okay, I'll take some of that. But like, and that's how they do it, because they're weak or whatever. Starving people will crawl up and eat. They'll eat everything. And so the thing was, what scared me about that was I didn't know how to tell a fake from the real. You see, I didn't know, because I hadn't done the work on me. I couldn't meet Mr. Right until I started becoming Mr. Right. Law of attraction won't allow it. That's why you can't take two refrigerator magnets off and think they're going to stick together. Not how it works. So can anybody name something that you've recently died to that wasn't serving you? Because here's the deal. I believe you got to every day look for something to lay down that does not serve you. Hello, Alaska, Xavier, how you doing from Spain? Thank you for joining us. Here's what I feel is important about that, because I feel this thing inside me when I hear that big wheel rolling around upstairs, and I know I put all my intentions to bed. So what is that up there that's up disturbing everybody? Oh, that's that thing that doesn't serve me. Up there thinking it can just ride around, right all night long. No, I got to go and get it out of here. That's why I have to banish things. Why? Because if we don't get things out of our space that don't serve us, we run the risk of eventually serving it or them. Okay, I really believe that. So who's willing to be vulnerable and just throw it out there? Anything that you can remember, or Tracy, that you've died to recently?
Yeah, at the end of last year, died to not being able to tell my story, and allowing it's because part of the story was affecting somebody else in my family. But I died to the fact that I could tell that story from my perspective and allow it to be my story and be strong enough to tell it from that perspective and be okay. And I wasn't for a long time. And I had already forgiven and released what happened, but I was never able to tell the story. So I died to that. I can tell the story now, as you know, Coach. But that definitely happened to me at the end of 2020.
And purpose, see, there it is. Because, see, Tracy was protecting some, you cannot glue or stitch the mouth of truth shut. Because we don't get to change truth. Truth is the only thing in the universe that never changes and will never change on us. So going around creating knockoffs is going to get you nowhere positive. And so, and that's a real thing, protecting, the memory of someone. If they didn't want the world to know about it, I'm just saying, shit, you shouldn't have done it. If you didn't want the world to know about it, you shouldn't have done it.
Yeah.
So I know, and that's a personal thing. When people are ready, they can do that. But Tracy, you're absolutely right. So how do you feel? How much space did it free up? Add to that.
A lot.
More than you expected, or was it something you could have never seen coming?
What's up?
Absolutely more than I expected. Absolutely.
Yes.
Because I thought that I wasn't suppressed from anything because I had forgiven. But the fact that I couldn't tell the truth
Right.
was still holding me back. So when I did, it was a lot more than I had ever imagined. And after you and I had this conversation, it was like a weight had lifted off of me. And I was about to speak at an event, and the words were coming. They were just coming, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then after I actually delivered it to the public, it was like, wow. That's the only way I can explain it. But yeah.
That's yes. And I was there. I watched it. I remember because we had a fast action call right before you did it. And you were, excuse me, I remember.
Stuck.
You were reaching into me. Oh, you were texting out of fear.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't pick up.
Yeah.
And I told you already what you need is already in there with you.
Yeah.
Right? Because it was like, it's when you just have to walk away from the kindergartner, leave him in there with the teacher and cry all the way to the door.
Yeah.
My baby. I had to do that. And you found it because it was always with you. So that was actually, now listen, you guys, spirit, and one of the things that I love here, I keep it simplistic. And so I know there's a lot to think about. And as we get out of here today, I want to leave you with it like this, as far as the soul thing with me, from my experience. I find it so much easier to manage just by leaning into the tilt-a-whirl effect. If I cleared that through earlier, that centrifugal thing, that thing that where I can't make it go, but I can lean into the frequency of it and let it carry me, right? Until I'm to that place of understanding that I am headed for all along. So I want to say this. Here's an easy way, if you're looking for a place to get started, to discovering this. Just imagine that everything you are the riverbed. Okay, you're the riverbed, and all the great things and all the experiences and all the things that came. Nothing is ever about just one thing. So no matter how bad it was, what was the one good thing in there? Find that. No matter how minuscule it may feel or seem now or back at the time, just take it with you. Leave the rest, because that will still be there. But what will happen as you move away and carry what is going to serve you is that the story will write itself exactly the way it happened, okay? Not the way we thought or what it turned. No, it will develop the story the way it happened. And the great thing is, so you're the riverbed. Your content, your story, your message to change lives within this world is the water. It must always be fluid. Let it continue to flow. You don't want it to dam up. The minute it dams up, just like real water, the earth is 80%, we're 80%. Real water, things start decaying. Everything starts dying. But the minute you get rid of that blockage, that dam, and it can move, the water can flow again naturally, everything is healing automatically. So our job as the riverbed is to keep the waterway free of dams. Die to things that do not serve you, and you have fulfilled that requirement of legacy. I want to thank you, all four of you, Oracle, Tracy, the Reset Coach, and Jamie. Thank you all so much for coming in. And you girls will be back with Tim Chung, Mindset Coach, Valentine's Day. So, I'll see you guys Valentine's Day, red and black. I'm giving it. It's a theme party. Thank you. Thank all of you out there. I really enjoyed this. Did you guys enjoy this topic?
Oh, this is fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. I hope you guys did too. In the meantime, let me see. Let me roll it and see who's coming up tomorrow. And you guys get over to Power Week. Get your tickets. They're moving tomorrow. Oh, it's a rerun, you guys. Prayers of light and love, would you please? Good Dr. Brian, my husband, is having just a little minor surgery thing tomorrow. So I'll be with him all day, so they'll be playing a rerun tomorrow. I'm sorry, but I'll see you back Monday of next week. Oh, John Krotek's my guest, all the way from Florida. You'll love him. He's been here before a couple years ago. He's back Monday. So in the meantime, get out. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys. And every day, get up and find something you can bring to the world that they've never seen. And know that means that you've just committed to getting up and doing something you've never done. I'll see you. Have a great one. Be the blessing and find a blessing. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Mwah.
Show me your soul. Baby, I'll show you mine. Show me your soul. Honey, it's way past time. How expensive do I have to be? Need I spell it out you my state of mind.